All right, so here's page 2 of our Unit 7 study guide, starting with number 6. This says, find each of the values listed, then create a box and whisker plot the following set of data. So I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers in order. So I see that 2 is my smallest number here, and then I've got a 3, and then I've got a 4, I've got a couple of 6s, I've got a 9, a 10, a 13, and a 15. Okay, so my minimum piece of data is 2. My maximum is 15. Find my overall median here. So I see that 6 is my overall median. And then I want quartile 1, which is the median of the upper half of the data. So I'm going to take 3 and add 4 to it and divide by 2. When I do that, I'll get 3 5/10, because that falls right in between those two. So quartile 1 will be 3 5/10. And then you can see I need to take 10 and 13 and add those together and divide by 2. And when I do that, I get 11 5/10. So my quartile 3 is 11 5/10. And now I've got all the pieces of data that I need to graph my box and whiskers. So I'm going to take quartile 1, 3.5, and put a line there. The overall median, put a line above 6. And then quartile 3, 11 5/10. And then we make a box around the 3 medians. And then our minimum was 2, so that gets a dot and a whisker. And our maximum was 15, and that gets our other whisker. And so there's our box and whisker plot for that data. I like to go ahead and label my numbers here just so that it's real clear what I've graphed. Yeah, there's my box and whiskers for number 6. All right, number 7, the box and whisker plot shows number of hours students spent on homework last week. So hours spent on homework. What's our minimum? You can see our minimum is 0. What's our quartile 1? You can see quartile 1 is right here. So that's right between 3 and 4, so that'll be 3 5/10. Our overall median, that's the line that's inside the box, that'll be 6. And then quartile 3, that's this line, the line that makes the right-hand edge of the box, and you can see that falls right in between 7 and 8, so that's 7 5/10. And then our maximum is 13. All right, let's answer some questions then about this box and whiskers here. We're going to circle all that apply. The average amount of time spent on homework by students last week is 6 hours. Well, it's not, remember, this is not average. This is the median, not the mean, okay? So that one's not true. 50% of students spent 3 to 8 hours on homework last week. Well, this is 3 5/10 to 7 5/10. So those numbers are not accurate, so that is not true. The third quartile is 7 5/10 hours. So you can see right there 7 5/10 hours. So that one is true. That is our third quartile. The least amount of time spent doing homework was 1 hour. That is not true. The least amount of time was 0 hours. And the greatest amount of time spent doing homework was 15 hours. And you can see that that's not true either. So the only thing true there was C. Okay. Then our last box and whiskers plot here shows the number of books read by students last year. And we are going to need to write 2 facts about that box and whiskers plot. And there's lots of things we could say here. We could say minimum number of books read is 5. We could say that 25% of the students read from 10 to 14 and a half. We could say 25% of the students read between, I don't know, was that 4.3 and 10 books. We could say 50% of the students read between 10 books and 24 and a half books, because remember this represents 50%. So there are a lot of other options here, but those are two options. All right, guys, that is page 2. Tune into the next video for page 3 of your study.